Yep, so just the forward arrows. All right, take it away.
Be careful what you say, you're being recorded. Good evening. Welcome to SCORE Fairfield County's live presentation of the 2022 Business Challenge Competition. And you may be aware that, or may not be aware that this is our first live presentation we've had since COVID. So if we look like we're going through stage fright, you'll understand, okay? Anyway, bathrooms, should you need them, are through that door. Just go a little bit to the right, you'll see a long red carpeted hallway. Halfway down, you'll see the restrooms on the left, okay? Okay, on the back table, there are forms to sign up for mentoring, SCORE mentoring. If some of you, perhaps some of you are not aware of what mentoring is, we'll get into that. But there are a lot of forms about the SCORE organization that you can pick up anytime, as including a criteria paper on the business plan competition, okay? Okay, so my name is Richard Kelsey, Dick Kelsey, and I will be your host. We have a very special thank you to our partners, Westport. Let me tell you who our partners are. We have two important partners that make this possible. Number one is the Westport Library, with whom you are enjoying right now, their facilities. And the other sponsor, if you may, is Wells Fargo. And Wells Fargo is sort of important. Can you hear me? Hello? Yeah, anyway, Wells Fargo is a pretty important player because they're providing the funding for the eventual winners in our business plan competition or business case competition, okay? Just a word about SCORE. SCORE is a volunteer arm of the Small Business Administration, the SBA. And Fairfield County has over 100 volunteers in its chapter. It's a nationwide organization. There's probably over 100 chapters nationwide, but we have 100 members in our chapter. The people at SCORE are volunteers only, and they provide a wide range of experience in the business world. And in addition to offering 3 different services to you as participants in the SCORE program. The first one is you get free one-on-one mentoring advice, confidential mentoring advice from either one SCORE representative or maybe 2, depends what your situation is. So we highly recommend that as you get into this program, if you haven't already, that you want to sign up with a SCORE mentor. That's going to make this much more enjoyable and easier, and you'll get more out of it, okay? So we really do recommend that. And you'll learn more about that if you go back and review some of the materials. The second service that SCORE offers is essentially what you're seeing today. You're seeing free education workshops and webinars like this one. I should say workshop like this one. And over the course of 1 year, our chapter sponsors on average over 100 of these webinars or workshops, okay? And there's other sources of information as on our website. So go to the SCORE Fairfield County website, you'll see tons of information, including templates for business plan, business cases, etc. It's very helpful. One last thing about SCORE. It was actually organized back in the 60s because post-war, the SBA was formed to provide services to small businesses, including funding. Okay. And about 10 years in their program, the SBA realized that, you know, we're having trouble with our business owners in eloquating, if you may, how they're going to basically pay off our debt. What is their program? What is their business? And how can they use our funds? And probably more importantly, pay them off. Okay. So some smart person said, well, you know, in the 60s, said, why don't we just get a lot of these retired business people looking for things to do? And so that's what they did. They formed SCORE. And you may wonder what SCORE stands for. Well, to that point, it stands for Senior Corps of Retired Executives, like that. Okay. Now, today, we don't talk about that interpretation because, frankly, a large percentage of our mentors and volunteers are actually working as we speak. And you'll see some of them in this series as speakers. Okay, so it's really has branched out. So that's it. That's SCORE. Now a little bit about business challenge. Yeah, we have 3 live sessions to be concerned about. The first 3 are actually live. After that, it gets into a point where you'll be communicating by internet or telephone. Okay, so you only have three sessions where we ask that you be here live. Okay, and that 4th session has to do with actually preparing and presenting, or sending in your business case, if you like, your business plan. And then the 5th week has to do with actually performing, if you may, in front of a panel of SCORE mentors, making your case. That's what you think about your business, okay? And then after a week of that, the people will be awarded. Those who basically are awarded will be notified. And that's it. So it's a 6-month, it's a 6-week program. That's it. Okay. Okay. So and that's any questions you have about SCORE, and then we'll be ready to go get on with this performance. Okay, our first speaker is Diane Winston. Diane, why don't you come up? And she'll tell you about herself.
My name is Diane Winston. I don't need a mic. He needs a mic. I am the founder and CEO of Winston Strategic Partners, which, where's the clicker? I guess I have. Okay. My firm, I started in 2005. I became a SCORE client, I think, in 2007 or 8.
And the microphone is necessary for the Zoom that's being recorded.
Can they not hear me?
Not on Zoom.
Oh, Lord. They're going to make me stand behind this thing. Okay. Anyway, I started my firm in 2005. I think I joined or became a client of SCORE in 2008 because I didn't know about SCORE. So by a show of hands, are all of you in job, have started your company, or you're thinking about it? Who's thinking about it? Okay, so tonight's session is self-assessment. What I'm going to do, and this is only top level, it's to make you think. For the rest of you who already are in business, it also has value, because unlike me, 2.5 years in business, guess what? There were things I didn't know. And so I'm going to go over a lot of those things, and that will be instrumental for you when you get ready to do your business challenge. Okay, you want to think about all of those things. So let's get started. There I am again. Okay, this is where we're going today. And I'm going to do this in 40 minutes, maybe less. I'm going to try. Let me see what time. Joe, what time am I done? 8 o'clock? Okay, a little bit, I'll come a little bit less than that so that we can get some questions in. This is where we're gonna go. We're gonna talk about some of the myths of being an entrepreneur, the different types of businesses you can have as a business owner. Then there's the stuff that I didn't really know a lot about, the legal stuff, and this is important. You want to listen up on that. Financial considerations. We want to just talk to you about that. And then, of course, is the entrepreneurial quotient in here? It's not, is it? You took this out, didn't you? It's not in here. Okay, well, this is for another session, but you didn't get it, so don't worry about it. Let's talk about some myths. How many believe you just need a good idea? No? Okay, Jasmine. If you don't need just a good idea to be a good entrepreneur, what do you need? Patience? Yes, absolutely. Believe me. Anyone else? I can't see. Annie? Oh, no, Alice. Passion? Yep. I heard somebody else. Sarge? A plan? Yep. Okay, so yes, sir. I can't see your name. Everybody turn it so that I can see it. Thank you. Max. Say it again. A product that customers like. Yes. Anyone else? Okay. Thank you all. How about not just something that you think is a good idea, but how about something that you might have some experience with? An example. What if I decide I want to open up an auto repair and I don't even know how to change a tire? That's truth. I do not know how to change a tire. However, I'm going to open up an auto repair shop. And I get guys and women who have all of those certifications to be a good repair person, but I don't know if they're doing a good job now, right? So you really need to know a little bit something about what you're getting ready to go into. How many worked for someone else before you started thinking about going into your own business? Okay, all right. Did I tell you what my company does? No. Winston Strategic Partners is a management consulting firm. What we do is we consult with organizations that are introducing change. So they might be implementing new technology. It might be a merger and acquisition, and they've got to integrate systems and people, right? All right. We do that. We also do change as it impacts employees, leadership development training seminars. People who want to get ahead, go further in their career, we offer training. We also offer executive coaching for the higher levels in an organization. And then we support diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging programming. We don't do it, but we do research and we help guide companies that want to create a more inclusive workplace. Now, see, I should have told you that in the beginning, because what I'm telling you is I've got experience enough. I had experience enough in 2005 to launch my business, and was strategic communications, because I didn't know about change management, although I had done it, but I didn't know the name of it. But I knew what I was doing when it came to change management communications. And from that, my clients began to ask me more specifically for things. And so, boom, I can now say we are a management consulting firm. We specialize in change that affects organizations, people, and cultures. Boom. Okay. So the point of this myth is, yes, all the things you said are correct. But if I wanted to open an auto repair shop, I might not be successful in it. So try to stick with what you know and build on that. I've had to get training in order to be better in change management. Okay. All right. Here's another myth. Phew. No more bosses to listen to. I'm my own boss. Right, Emily? Is that true, Emily? How come? Okay, but you don't have a boss, right? Emily? Emily, keep going. All right, somebody help. You don't have a boss. You're your. So, Emily, the number of clients you have are the number of bosses you have. And guess what? Those are all different personalities. And guess what? Their expectations of you may differ. So it's important as a business owner to, one, know what it is that you're offering, understand the client expectations, and understand how you're going to deliver them. And we could do a whole thing about proposals and times and timeline expectations. But the bottom line, Emily, is how many bosses do you have? As many clients as you have. And I hope all of you have many, many, many bosses. So this is a myth. Okay. One more. Well, maybe two more. Oh, God, I wish this one was so true. This is so true, isn't it? Just do the things you want to do, right? You're smiling. I don't see your name. What, right here. Yeah. Lindy. Hi. Just do the things you want to do, right? When you start, what? What's your right name? Oh, yeah. Yeah, when I started in 2005, I didn't have the resources to hire a resource. So guess what? I had to wear a whole bunch of hats. So for those of you who are starting out, be patient, make your money when you can, as soon as you can. But when you make your money, the first client, you're in like Flint, right? The first client, it may take some time, but be prepared to wear all these hats. Every last one of these is you. So when people speak about your company, even though like I'm a solopreneur, it's just me, right? But whenever I speak about my company, I say we, because we exist. We happens to be here, but we exist. Now, 16, almost 17 years in, I have people now, not employees, but I have people, vendors and contractors, subcontractors that I hire to do a lot of this. The one thing that I can't do, don't want to do, not wired for, is financial accounting or bookkeeping or, okay? So listen, you got to have your own checking account for the business and your own personal. You got to keep those receipts and expenditures separate. Don't do like I did the first couple of years. I did the separate thing, but I had this bag, and in the bag were the receipts for the business. I did not have a bookkeeper or an accountant. I actually went out and bought, it's not QuickBooks, what was it before? Before it started with a Q. Yeah. And I got it on sale, and I thought, oh, I got it on sale. I had no idea I got it on sale because it was going to be obsolete. So I had it, I didn't load it onto my laptop because I don't know how to do that. Okay. But I had it for a couple of years, and my girlfriend's husband was a bookkeeper, and he, out of the grace of God, he just blessed me and did my books for me at the end of the year so I could file my taxes. Get QuickBooks. Get a separate account for banking for your personal and for your business. And don't cheat, okay? If you're at Trader Joe's, which I've done, I did the last week, I can't say that's a business thing, but because I'm an LLC, my accountant puts it down as a draw, an owner's draw, okay? I try not to do that, but sometimes there's no money over there. And I need eggs. But don't do that, but I'm just being real with you, okay? Okay, here's the biggest myth. 1 year, you're out. She's trying to be smart over there, look at her. She's showing off, yes. But let me just say this to you, because I'm about being honest, but I'm also about being positive. I believe what we put out there is what we're gonna get, all right? You all are here. This doesn't pertain to you. This pertains to the folks that don't know about SCORE, who don't look to get help, to learn everything that they can, okay? This is for the folks that put the cart before the horse. That's not you, but this is statistical. So just not you. So we'll skip past this one. Now, in all the years of SCORE, and Dick told you it's been around for about 60 some, I mean, since the 60s, we have identified what makes a successful entrepreneur. And I don't think there are any surprises in this, but let me just. This is the first myth we addressed. You either have education in it or you've done it, okay? You can relate to it. You know the language of your industry, of your business. When you're speaking to your clients and they ask you something in that language, you understand it so that you can have an intelligent conversation with them. I'll give you an example. I do change management communications. I knew I wanted to do more than just the communications because I'm always working with the change manager or the change management lead, right? And what they're doing, I can do. What I ended up doing is getting certified as a change management practitioner. So I had the practical experience from years in business and in corporate, but now I'm certified as a change management practitioner, okay? And this is what I meant by get education behind your experience. You can always learn, always improve. Passion. Who said passion? Was that you, Max? Who said? Alice said passion, right? Yes, you want to have passion for what you do. And passion can be defined by as many things, but I see passion as you really loving what you do, where you get up in the morning and you can't wait to do that thing, whatever it is. You hear teachers are like that. You hear artists are like that. Performers are like that. Folks who play sports, who, you know, they just love it. That's their job. And I love creating solutions using words. I'm a problem solver. That's just who I am. So I can walk into a situation and I may not say a lot. I'm asking questions, and all of a sudden things start falling into a solution in my mind. And I begin to say to the client, well, what about you? Did you ever think about this? The same thing when I write, I can create. So I'm passionate about what I do. I love what I do. I love what I do because it's creative, but I also love it because I am able to deliver it regardless of the company's size or industry or where they're located, because change happens in every organization, right? Okay. Proper planning and time management. Was that Sarge? Right? Proper planning and time management. Do we have any procrastinators here? At 20 minutes to 7, I got a phone call from my colleague, Dick, and he said, hi, Diane, this is Dick. Everything okay? Yeah. Are you coming? Yeah, I'll be there in about 15 minutes. I drive them crazy because I use every moment that I have, and I'm calculating that I was actually planning to leave the house at 6:30. And guess what? I needed to clean the car off. And so I had to clean the car up, then run upstairs, put on my clothes, throw on a little makeup, and the phone rings. So the eyebrows didn't get done because Dick called. Time management is something, it is something some people do really well, and some of us need something to keep us on track, whether it's an electronic calendar, whether it's a book, or, you know what I'm talking about, a day timer kind of thing. But you are, as a business owner, you're the CEO of your company. And the buck stops with you. And when you're starting out, if it doesn't get done, who are you going to blame? When you make a commitment to a client and you miss that deadline, who are you going to blame? Right? So time management is essential. Now, I tend to say that I just like to work under pressure. I'm procrastinating, but I'll get it done. And I found even in business, I will front load. When I worked in corporate America, I would front load a project, get all the hard, heavy lifting done early, and then I could just finesse it. But I've got too many balls in the air right now. So I know what I can get done quickly. And then when it's time to do, let's say, a proposal, never client work, a proposal, then I'm going to hunker down. And I may be up for 24, 48 hours getting that proposal the way I want it. And I'm always saying, Why did you wait? And so I like to tell you guys that the ideas of what I want to put down are in here. And I'm thinking about it and I'm creating, and then I sit down and give birth to a proposal. Yeah, okay, sounds good, right? No, I procrastinate. You have to know when it's okay and when it's not. I know how I'm wired. I know I'm going to get it done. It is never client work. That gets done early. It's the proposal writing, creating the solution, reading the proposals, and sometimes they're very big. Okay, but I always get them in on time. So it's due at 2 o'clock electronically. 1:56, send. Then I go make a martini. I don't care if it's 4 in the morning. I did it. Okay, time management is really important, and the research is important. The research is important when you think about your competitors, when you think about how to price. I was in a course today that the state of New York offered on writing good proposals and pricing. Now, I've been doing this for how many years? But I learned something today. It was online, it was 2 hours long, but she gave me wonderful ideas as a consultant on how to price. And you know, before, I mean, my pricing is okay, but she really helped me consider some other things. So get through the research, figure out what it is you want to do, and talk to people. Now, I ran from this from my SCORE mentors for about 1.5 years. I ran. I don't have time. Okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Okay, my business plan. And I had 2 mentors. That's how bad I was. And I would meet with them every month. And every month I would tell them, I'm gonna get it done. I'm gonna get it done. Okay. But see, what they didn't understand is I had work to do. I had clients. I had time to do a business plan. And when I finally did the business plan, I saw how many things were missing. It's one thing to make money from doing something. It's another to have a roadmap. That's what your business plan is. Your business plan is the roadmap. You're able to see what you know about your business plans or what your business strategy is, but you can also see what you don't know. How are you going to sell it? Who's your target market? How are you going to price it? Marketing, how are you going to market it? You're going to do it online, you're going to go to fairs and shows, or you're going to do direct mail. These are the things that you will get help with if you get a SCORE mentor. It's important. And so they wrangled me down. You know how you get a lasso and and they made me sit down and they had me do a little bit every time I met. But as I did it, I became more aware of what I didn't know. And so business plan, I'm going to tell you, is, and it's dynamic. It's not just now. I'm reading a book right now called 12-Week Year. And I also, no, don't write it down. No, you're not there yet, Jasmine. Don't write it down. Don't write it down. The 12-week year talks about the business plan being a year and how sometimes we start in January and then November shows up and we haven't hit those targets. You're not there yet. When you can write it down, don't go buy it. Not yet. Okay. The book you should buy is The E-Myth Revisited. That's the book you should buy now. The E-Myth Revisited, okay? That's important for you as you're thinking about starting your business. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful book. And then when you're in business for a little bit, then you can look at the 12-week year, okay? But the bottom line is you want to, when you do your business plan, you're gonna do it, and maybe you'll be annual. So what are you gonna do month 1 to get you to month 2 to get you to month 12? It's about action steps, and you'll learn more about the business plan. Please be okay as you start off to course correct. When I started, I said I was a communication strategist, right? I did things for everybody. If you need a press release, I can do it. You need your professional bio, you need your resume done. You need me to write your newsletter. You need me to come and do change, anything. It didn't matter if it was a corporate client, a government, individual, nonprofit, anything, because I wanted to make my first dollar. And that's how it is sometimes. You're indiscriminate when you're first starting out. You just want to be able to make money. But over time, I realized I was putting the same amount of time in doing a proposal for someone who was unemployed and couldn't afford to pay me what my time was worth, as I did for someone who could pay me. And so I got out of the business of doing proposals and professional bios. And I sometimes do website content for friends, but all of it is very time consuming because you want to, in communications, people want to appear a certain way, right? And so I realized that my time was valuable. And if I was spending 10 hours helping Greg do his resume, then I couldn't help this corporate client over here because I'm helping Greg, and Greg wasn't going to pay me over here. So I do it now as my community service. I do it, but it's usually for free, and it's my give back. I use my talents to bless others, but I don't do it a lot. Okay. I had to course correct. That's why I told you that story. I had to realize that I couldn't be everything to everyone. So my target clients now are large corporations for change management and medium-sized companies generally don't have a learning and development organization. So they would be for the learning and development, leadership development training, right? Executive coaching could be for the big corporations, middle, even small. And then for the medium-sized and small companies, the work who want inclusive workplace, that's the DEIB stuff, because large corporations already have theirs. Smaller ones might have something, but they don't have it the way they want it. We did work for the Connecticut Lottery on their supplier diversity. And they had a supplier diversity program, but they wanted it to be more robust. They didn't want it to be just, we hired this many minorities and this many women. They wanted to unwind that. How many of the minorities were veterans? How many were disabled Americans? How many were LGBTQ? How many were Latino? So we did research and we helped them and we put together a strategy for them. And then you work with a mentor. That's what makes you successful. Your mentor, your SCORE mentor, is a trusted advisor. SCORE mentors only are there to help you succeed. We are all volunteers. Oh, did I tell you I'm a mentor now? Yeah, I got roped into being a mentor, which I do part-time, and I love it. I love, because I have this unique space of having started as a client, and now I got my business full-time, so I can't be a full-time mentor. So every so often, one of my colleagues will call me in to sit in on a meeting with one of their clients. And that's how that works. Okay, access financial resources. You're going to learn more about this, but you got to know when you need. I knew I needed operating capital. So I took out a loan, a line of credit for $20,000, and I get to pay it over a number of years, but it helped me when I was in a crunch. But I needed to understand how was I going to pay it back. Okay. So don't go out there using your credit cards. Don't go out there and take out any loan that's out there for some ungodly interest rate. Know how you're going to pay it back. That means financial planning, and you're going to learn a lot about that. It would be nice to be able to have the support of your family and friends. I'm sort of not Karen. Ask my husband, God bless him. When you have a burning dream, and I'm going to be one to tell you, go for your dreams. And it's good when you have friends around, and it's good when you have family that support you, but that may not always be the case. No, this is a cohort right here. You're a cohort, you're together, you're going to get to know each other. So maybe 2 or 3 of you become, build a relationship as a result of sitting in this together. I'm in a mastermind. I'm in several mastermind groups, and those are the people who are in business like me, not my same walk, but they support me. I can go with problems. That's what your mentor does for you. But my husband, he wanted me to continue to get that corporate check, but that wasn't where I felt I should go. And in the first 5 years, whenever someone said, Diane, how's the business going? My husband's face would get all kind of shaped out of, And by the 7th, 8th, 10th year, when he saw the funds coming in, yeah, my wife, she has her own business. Yeah, my wife has her own business. Yeah, right. God bless him. God bless him. All right, let's talk about possible business models and the advantages and disadvantages. And so if this is your business model, I just want you to raise your hand. Starting a brand new business. Nobody here starting a brand new business? Okay, I gotta walk away from the mic. I can't see his name. What is your name? I can't. Faraz? Faraz. What is your business, Faraz? You don't want to say? Okay. Okay, and this is brand new. You're just starting this. Okay, and you have background in this, or you have family or someone that. Say yes, just say yes, say yes. Say yes. Yes, yes. You're going to be very successful. Who else had their hand up? Yes, Jasmine. A candle business. Are you making the candles? Do you have you gifted candles that you've made before? Look, she's trying to give me things. No, 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 no. The reason I ask is because somebody had to have loved your candles. And so you said, huh, rather than just giving them away, I think I'm gonna. So you, okay, right. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, new business, okay? So these are your advantages of having a new business. And there are some challenges. Okay, there are challenges with having a brand new business. There's nothing behind you except you, which is why having experience is important. Having some knowledge of what it is that you're offering your clients is important. Okay, but you are setting in place the architecture, the foundation, and then all the walls and the roof and the whatever you call that, the paint and the carpet of your business. You are setting that into motion. Okay, so I don't like this bottom line, higher risk of failure, please. You know, I told you I'm very positive. So if you have a mentor, if you have a business plan, if you have thought through what it is that you're offering, and you have time management, I don't see you just failing. I just don't. And I want you to keep hearing my voice when it gets challenging and you feel like you want to throw the towel in. I was on with a colleague yesterday and she was saying, yeah, one of my mastermind. Yeah, I don't know. Just so I said, yeah, girl, I know. There are days I get up and I just don't want to do it anymore. I'm just tired of running after it. Sometimes I just feel like, why isn't it good enough? How come I'm doing these proposals and no one's buying? And then of course, I get a check from a client. And all of a sudden I've got my energy back. Okay, so yeah, if you don't do all the things that you're gonna learn in this session, there's a possibility that you can. Okay, who's buying an existing business? I don't get it, okay. Nobody's buying an existing, okay. You are, Sarge, what is it? A chiropractic practice, okay. Are you a chiropractor? All righty. See, I was wondering now, because if he said to me he's buying one, but he comes out of the auto repair industry, good for you. Okay, so here are some of the advantages of someone who is buying a business. You already have your, you have existing clients, right? And did you start yet? You did? Oh, is it exciting? See everybody, you're going to be so excited. Okay, there are a few challenges. And Sarge, is there anyone else that's buying a business, an existing business? Okay, so Sarge, you can validate this list. Are there any hidden issues, debt, poor reputation you're overcoming, right? this is when you inherit, you're inheriting not only new clients, but you have an opportunity. And I know Sarge can attest to this, to do things differently, to do, even if it's just changing the decor. The same clients come in and they go, oh, it's so bright in here. This is so refreshing. That's a testament to Sarge putting new blood in there and doing things differently. I wish you so much success. You're welcome. Okay. Franchising. No franchising. Lindy?
Actually, I work for a franchise.
Okay. Are you thinking of buying one? Maybe. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So here are some of the advantages, right? And you think about, McDonald's. And that's why the E-Myth Revisited is very good. Because when you get ready to expand, when you get ready to hire employees, you want to have the equivalent of Hamburger University. So your employees do it exactly the way you do it, right? There's no discrepancy in how your clients are serviced or how the process is done, okay? So with a franchise, there's usually a Hamburger University equivalent. That's the good news. Here's some of the challenges. It's very expensive. It's very expensive. And you could possibly, and I'm not going negative, but if you don't do things the way the franchise parent wants, you could lose that. All right. Okay. Anybody for online business? Okay. Oh, well, thank you, Emily and Jasmine. Okay, Jasmine, we know what you're doing, but let me ask Emily, what are you selling online? Okay. All right. So here's some of the advantages. 24/7 access. Amazon. I think Amazon. When I think Emily, I think Amazon. The demand's going to be there, right? You're open 24/7. People can go and do business. You can do business, right? The downsides. What is the, do you want to share what the product is? I'm sorry? Swimwear. Oh, that's good. For big girls too? You better say yeah, Emily. Say yeah, Emily. Okay, I'm telling you, yes, Emily. You all forget the big girls. I don't want a bikini, but I do want a bathing suit that looks attractive. Okay, so now you've got some market research. Okay, here's some of the challenges. Don't know about the technology stuff. Somebody else in SCORE might be able to tell you a little bit more about that. However, what if your swimsuits were hot to trot? You've got to have inventory to be responsive. You need to be able to have a fulfillment organization to get those things out. So there are some challenges with online business, but they're not going to be yours because you're going to be selling for big girls. I mean, full figure. I mean, yeah, okay. Real girls. Okay, how about home-based business? How many are going to work from home or have work are planning to start off from home? Okay, here are some of the advantages. And a lot of people in our nation are doing this now, right? The pandemic has done this. I was on with someone that is, I think Takeda. I was on in a forum with pharmaceutical and medical device companies today, and the representative, and she's really supplier diversity head. She said that the company everybody's going to be working from home. Everyone's going to be working from home. That's what the pandemic did. They've been doing it. They're going to continue to do it. And I don't know that it's the manufacturing or the R&D, but at least her part of the business are working from home. Okay. There are distractions working from home. If you have children or you have loud pets, particularly with Zoom calls, or if the view is coming on and it's 11 o'clock and you want to see what's going on, I just have to tell you that's DVR is a blessing because I can watch the view tonight, right? you have to be able to manage your time. Some people are very good at working from home. Get up at the same time you would for another job, or maybe a half hour later. You get to do more things because you're not commuting, right? Stop, have lunch, go out for a walk around your house or your block. Treat it like a 9 to 5, although it is never a 9 to 5 when you are in your own business. So get ready. Okay. This is the stuff I didn't know a lot about. Okay. You can register, and you should register your business in the state of Connecticut. And you can be any one of these things. And the only one I can address is the LLC. And the LLC is a limited liability company or corporation. I can't remember if it's company or corporation. But what that means is my LLC, my firm, is a registered company or organization, a registered business in the state of Connecticut. But if somebody wanted to sue Winston Strategic Partners, my personal assets are protected. Okay. So I tend to recommend when you're starting out, start out as an LLC. You still do a 1040 for your income tax return, but you do a Schedule C. And you want to have a CPA do your taxes because of all the stuff. All right. But then there are all these other things. You could be a C Corp, an S Corp. You could have a partnership. You could have multiple owners and all that. So like I said, I don't know that stuff. Okay. But the startup, we recommend the LLC for the reasons that you see here. And I don't need a board of directors. One day I will. Insurance is very important. Is anyone going to have like an eatery, baking, food, or you're going to have, what is it, Daniel? Do you have that food truck now, Daniel? Okay. You're going to, okay. So Daniel not only has the experience working with his friend, but he knows what he has to do to get set up. So your friend can tell you about all of the insurances that you need, because that's, people are consuming your good, right? Okay. So these are all the insurances that you should, you know, your health insurance when you're not working for someone else, you've got to make sure you have health insurance, okay? Life insurance as well. And if you're using your vehicles for business, you need to have that covered. Workman's comp, I have, although I only have one car and no employees, but I have general business insurance, and I also have professional business insurance. My clients required it. It is not inexpensive, but once you have it, don't let it go. Just bake it into your cost, okay? So you should find out what you need. I would also suggest that you, and I think there is a slide here on the types of individuals, the resources that you need, but I would definitely have a lawyer kind of guide you through. You do not need a lawyer to open an LLC. Okay? You do not need a lawyer to open an LLC. You can do it online with the state of Connecticut. You can do it online as well. Get your tax ID from the federal government online. You need an employer ID. Employer, what is it? Employer, thank you. EIN, okay? You can get that online. Licenses, if you need a license, Daniel, you probably need a license for what you're going to do. If you have employees, and I did have an employee that came with a federal contract, I knew nothing about what I was doing, and I went to someone who did, one of my colleagues, and she directed me to a firm who handles the payroll, the taxes, the employer's tax for employees, or the whole thing. She helped me do that. I didn't know. Yes, I know. Look, there's the clock. I'm rushing. No, I'm not going to take my time, because the first indication was when Joe stood up. I know how to read. No. I looked and I said, he's up. And then I looked at the clock. I know, I'm rushing through. We're almost done. You see how they do me? First, they make me stand here. Okay. We talked about this, didn't we? know how you're going to get your business started. I didn't plan to start my business. I was downsized. And luckily, after 7 or 8 months of unemployment, this President Bush was gracious and gave us 3 extra months. And I think I had 1 week left. I got my first consulting assignment, and it was a 2-year assignment with Pitney Bowes as a consultant. And it was a blessing. It was a blessing. But I didn't start my business with foreknowledge. I had to do something. And doing it, it just became the right thing for me because I got to work for different types of customers. Okay. So it's nice if you're planning it to have some reserves put away, because you might not get your first client the first time you put out a sign. So if you put 6 to 12 months of what you need to live, whether it's rent, your mortgage, food, your utilities, just to live. And for you ladies, our nails. All right. All right. You're going to need cash all along. You're going to need cash. When you do your business plan, you want to start looking at some of the expenses that would come along with delivering your business. And this is now where you're talking about how much cash do I need to bring in order to meet all of those expenses. All right. These are your advisors. Of course, we have us as your first, but you also need a lawyer. You're going to need a lawyer to read contracts that your clients might ask you to do. For me, my lawyer did a subcontractor agreement for me, so I can bring in people with expertise I might not have or that complement mine. And it's all business. It's not because I'm friends with Lou. Hey, Lou, can you do this for me? And he says, yeah. No, we have it all in writing. Everybody's covered. And my subcontractor agreement is mutual. So I may hire Lou, but Lou can then turn around on that same subcontractor agreement and hire me. So it's important that you have a lawyer to cover you. A bookkeeper, we talked about already, an accountant. Have an insurance agent. I got a broker to get me the right insurance agents. I don't need the broker anymore. I'm happy with the agent that I have. And then investors, depends on your business. I would love to say I had an investor. My investor was my dear husband because I wasn't making money right away. Okay. Dick, look what slide is up. What time is it, Joe? Any questions? You get to ask. One person can ask one question for the whole group because I got to be off. Any questions? Okay, listen. No rush. Did you see Dick back there going like this to me? I am so excited for you all. Take what I have shared with you, integrate it into your business challenge. And then after you've won the business challenge or not, use it so that you can have a successful business. I thank you for having me tonight, and I wish you all Godspeed and great success. Joe, it's all yours.
Thank you, Diane. That was great. All right, so I'm going to cover a lot of the same things that Diane covered. I'm going to take a slightly different approach, but you're going to find that we're saying pretty much the same thing. Let me start off with saying good evening, everyone. Appreciate you guys coming out on this cold, snowy night here. My name is Joe McCaffrey. I'm a certified mentor with Fairfield County SCORE, and also work for the economic development lender to help small businesses get SBA-backed loans. So you're thinking about starting a new business? Yeah? That's great. Congratulations. You have a 1 in 3 chance of making it. At least that's what the statistics suggest. Let's take a look. So this kind of echoes what Diane was showing you, except I'm going to go a little bit farther. She cut it off at 5 years. I'm going to look at 10 years. Okay. See that 10-year number? That's the unfortunate reality. Okay. But that's what it is. Not encouraging, but that's the reality. Okay. These numbers, though, they don't take into consideration the whole story. Like Diane said, if you have a SCORE mentor, you can improve your chances. But for a lot of these businesses, they don't do that. So unfortunately, the story gets worse, not better. So let's take a look. So this doesn't take into account mergers, which is a positive thing. Like if we took out the mergers, we'd say, well, those businesses didn't fail. They got merged into something else. there's probably not too many of those that existed, but you know, there may be a few. So let's say that accounts for something. Not every business is going to be counted. These are just the numbers for businesses that the government can track. If your business isn't registered, for instance, you're just testing the waters, you're doing it as a side hustle, for instance, or if you're operating in the underground economy, you're not declaring, you know, an undeclared business, cash only kind of thing. You're not going to be counted in the government statistics. We don't see those here. Being in existence doesn't mean that you're actually successful. Okay. What percentage of these businesses are successful? Meaning they make enough profit to sustain the owner. Some businesses, they go dormant, they become hobbies after a period of time. You're not trying to make money really anymore, but they're still existence. They still exist for government tracking purposes. So these numbers, again, can be a little bit misleading. So here's the question that I want to know, and I don't have the answer to it, but I'm going to ask it anyway. How many of these businesses meet or exceed the expectations that were established by the owner? My guess is probably not too many, okay? Everyone who decides to embark on the entrepreneurial journey does so with the expectation of success. The unfortunate reality is that many of them are going to end up disappointed. Okay, I'd be lying to you if I told you that success was likely to happen. In fact, the complete opposite is true. I'm telling you this because I want to make sure you understand what you're potentially getting into. I want to make sure you have realistic expectations. Reality, you'll find, is the central theme of this presentation. It's a very important element of entrepreneurism. Here's some interesting realities I discovered while doing research for this presentation. Construction, warehousing, transportation businesses, they tend to be the highest. Healthcare and social services are the lowest. My most successful clients that I work with are in daycare. Daycare is a hot business right now, hot business. This one, I could do an entire talk on this topic here, okay? I won't get into it now, but it's true. Service business, like what Diane does, a lot easier than if you're making and selling a product. Okay, so here's an interesting, why do you think this is? So there's a wisdom factor associated with being in business, okay? You have to know more than a little about a lot of different things, which takes time to learn. Learning on the job takes time and can be very expensive because you end up making a lot of mistakes. This is what we call learning the hard way. Most common reasons why businesses fail. I'll give you two of the most common that I see and that the research I did supports. And that is the market's either too small or too difficult to reach. There's a market for everything. You know, like your candles, for instance. There's a market for that. It's a matter of how big that market is and how easy it is to get to those people to get their money. Okay, that's going to be a challenge for you. I'll tell you right now, right? It's a workable challenge. You can figure out how to get around it, but it's going to be a challenge. The other one is you'll run out of money. You know, Diane mentioned earlier, get revenue in place as quick as you can because it's a race against the clock. You're going to run out of money at some point. Nobody here has unlimited financial resources. So that's usually one of the bigger things that kills a lot of small businesses. They just simply run out of money. Okay, this one's interesting. In my experience, women are more entrepreneurial. 60% of my clients that I work with at the company that I work at, CIC, as well as SCORE, 60% of them are women. And their businesses are actually more successful. This is just my personal observation. It may or may not be a representative sample, but they're more successful than the male businesses. Why is this discrepancy? Why is there such a discrepancy, I wonder? Okay, I think it's because my clients are people who voluntarily ask for and are willing to accept help. Okay, these statistics suggest, this is just a theory now, that women are more likely to ask for and accept help. Is this true? The group tonight is about half and half, men and women. So, you know, I can't really draw much from that. But let's say, for instance, you're driving in the car, okay, and you're lost and your phone is dead. Who's more likely to pull over and ask for directions, a man or a woman? Okay, you know, I'm not suggesting anything. I'm just asking the question. But maybe this explains why 60% of my clients are women. And oh, by the way, did I mention that my women clients tend to have more successful businesses than men? Is there a connection here? I don't know. I'm just asking the question and having a little fun. Okay, here's another interesting statistic. This fact surprises me because race has nothing to do with success. in the entrepreneurial world. I see no correlation whatsoever with my clients who I work with. I always say entrepreneurism is the great equalizer. It's a meritocracy that marginalizes no one. In fact, if you're a woman or a minority-owned business, Diane touched on some of this, you have more opportunities available to you than everyone else. You can get priority consideration for things like loans, grants, government contracting. So if this is you, by all means, take advantage of it. One of the other things I did in preparation for this presentation is that I made a list of the various reasons why small businesses fail. Then I made another list of what you need to do in order to have a successful business. The failure list was exponentially longer than the succeed list. Okay, what that tells me is there's a lot more things that can go wrong instead of what needs to go right. Success is certainly not an impossibility. Okay, it's just that more people will fail than succeed. This is an important reality to keep in mind, but let me say this, failure doesn't necessarily have to be your destiny. These statistics are not intended to discourage you. What you're considering is doing is very risky. You already know that, I'm sure. I want to help you improve your chance of success. And the way I'm going to do that is by teaching you how not to fail. Your biggest obstacle is failure. Failure is the reason why people don't succeed, obviously, right? There are things you can do to improve your chance of success, which is what I'm going to talk about next. So what can you do to improve the odds? The answer is simple. Remove the failure trigger points. Here are a few ideas that you can do. And again, Diane touched on some. Buy an existing business, right? Either in whole or in part. This is a good way. You're buying success, hopefully, right? Hopefully that's the reason why you're buying the franchise. They already have a proven business model of success, and the infrastructure you need is all there. It's plug and play. Partners, find partners who do whatever it is that you don't, or have what you don't, like money, expertise, contacts in the industry, maybe. It's like finding a marriage partner. It takes time, but it's also a great way to diversify your risk. You have to give up some equity, usually, right? But a percentage of something is better than 100% of nothing, right? Do a trial run, test the waters before you jump in. Start out as a moonlight, what we call a bivocational entrepreneur. You got your day job, and then you're doing this as your side hustle. It's a good way to try it out, see if it's going to work. Money, once again, make sure you have enough money. Okay, you want to be able to afford to invest in success. Money fixes a lot of problems. You've heard that, you've heard that saying before, right? Do your homework, and then last one, develop a good plan of execution. So for the balance of tonight's session, I'm going to talk to you about the last two items on this list. That's why they're in bold. Okay, there's an old saying, you may have heard it, that it says if you fail to plan, that's the same as planning to fail. Anybody ever heard that before? Some variation of that, right? Yeah. Okay. So I think you're probably thinking like, this is beginning to sound like a business plan pitch, right? I see some eyes rolling, right? My response to that is not quite. What sort of emotions do you feel when you hear me say that, though? Business plan. Tell me, anybody have any, what are your thoughts on business plan? What do you think of when I say that? This is the audience participation time. Anybody, any ideas? Nervous, anxiety, fear, panic, pressure, loathe, dread, disdain. Those are some of the words I often hear from people. What about excited, eager, willing? I'll give it a try. Maybe. Anybody? Right? It's sort of like calculus. You need to take it in order to graduate, but nobody wants to, right? Nobody wants to do it. It's just one of those things you got to do. For most people, writing, this is important. This is true. For most people, writing a business plan is more difficult than running a business. It's true. They hate it. It's dreadful. I read a lot of business plans in the course of the work I do, and to be honest, I'm not a big fan of business plans. I'm really not. Let me tell you why. This is the top 10 reasons why I hate business plans. Okay, here we go. I'm going to count them down, starting with number 10. I checked the attendance list tonight. None of you have the last name of Shakespeare. Okay. Okay. I rarely read a good business plan. They tend to be sloppy. The writing quality is poor. You can hire a professional if you want to help you write it, but the plan is worthless unless it's written by yourself. You can't have somebody else write it because you're going to be responsible for executing. It's got to be your plan. Number 9, the focus is on looking and sounding good more so than being good. I'm kind of dating myself here, but remember the plastic book report covers with the bright, eye-catching neon spine that kids used to hand in school, right? It's kind of like that. The content is usually lacking. You try to conform to a general outline when you write it, but without knowing exactly what to write, it just ends up being awkward. That doesn't sound good. Number 8, time is money, folks. There's a high opportunity cost associated with your time. Again, echoing what Diane said earlier. Get your revenue stream in place as quickly as possible. This slows you down. There's a high opportunity cost with this. It's a lot of difficult work for the person writing it. You got the ideas in your head, right? But it's hard to get them down on paper. And they take a long time to read also. Like I'm on the other side of it, reading them, because oftentimes there's a lot of fluffy filler in there, a lot of dressed up, razzle dazzle, puff type stuff, which just adds to the bulk of the document. It doesn't really even do anything. The tone tends to be overly optimistic, which gives the wrong impression. They provide an unrealistic, Pollyanna, sanitized, pristine perspective. In many cases, they read like an obituary. What I mean is, an obituary provides a flowery, overly generous, over-the-top, larger-than-life representation of the deceased person. It either omits or represents any of their negatives. There's some truth in there, of course, but it's a hyped-up truth. With the omission of dilution of the negatives, it becomes a mischaracterization, unreflective of reality. People only say nice things about the deceased. And the same is true for business plans. They only tell you the good. They never tell you the bad associated with it, right? Too much emotion gets injected and it starts to distort the truth. Let me tell you, if your business plan reads like an obituary, be careful because it may become prophetic for you. They don't tell me everything I want to know. Okay, they're focused exclusively on success, not avoiding failure. Written with more of a marketing promotional purpose it's really for the sole purpose of trying to sell something to somebody. Like for instance, getting a loan. That's people come to me all the time looking for loans and I have to read their business plan. And they're just pitching me why I should give them money. I don't like feeling like I'm being sold. Who does, right? So I tend to read, you have to read it with a skeptical eye and you have to hunt for the truth. It's in there, but you have to look for it, which is extra work and extra time. Number 4, making money is never easy. And the more money you want to make, the more difficult it's going to be. If your business plan makes it sound like starting and running this business is going to be simple and easy, then you're missing something. If it was easy, think about this. Somebody else would already be doing it. The true value of doing a business plan, in my opinion, is to map out a way forward for your business. Yet they're rarely used for visionary strategic mapping purposes. A business plan is a roadmap to guide you in the pursuit of a vision. It's a path from point A to point B. It's never linear though, and it changes regularly, sometimes dramatically. It's something like this, never straight. It's a one-time activity. It doesn't get updated and things change quickly, so it becomes stale and it loses significance in a very short period of time. You get going on execution and the plan quickly loses relevance. It's a lot of work to keep it updated, and doing so becomes a low priority luxury, which means it never gets done. Okay, and here's the last one. The number one reason why I hate business plans. I'm tired of listening to people complain about them, right? It's considered a mundane task done under compulsion. You do it because you have to, not because you want to. Therefore, it either doesn't get done or it takes forever to get done. I have some people who come to me and they say they need a loan. I'm like, well, how soon do you need the money? They go, well, I need it yesterday. That's usually the standard answer. I'm like, okay, well, we got to do a business plan. We got to do this. Months, I get calls back from people 6 months later saying, I finally got my business plan done. 6 months. 6 months it took them to get their business plan. It's crazy. Okay, so here's the thing. The truth is, you don't need a business plan. You really don't. I have a better idea for you. It's called a business case qualitative analysis, BCQA. Let me reference that tonight. Okay, stringing together a lot of technical words here. I didn't have lunch at the library here. I need a dictionary. No, you'll understand what this is in a second. Okay, first time I'm rolling this out. I just finished it. I made it specifically for you guys. No joke, I really did. Actually, Daniel, who's here, is one of my score clients. He was one of our beta testers that we ran through this process with. So he's already seen this. He's the only person here other than the score people. Okay. And I asked him before he came in here tonight, he's trying to get a loan for his business, which in the process of successfully doing. Because part and parcel, I would say because of this document. Dan, would you agree? Has it been helpful to you? Okay, he's my promotional plug. Okay. I really do. I think you're going to like it. This is what it looks like. I know you can't see this too well. It's kind of, it's a big document and all, but we're going to email this to you later, by the way. You're going to get all this tonight, as well as the financial projections template. So let me just tell you about it, okay? It's a simple Q&A template. Okay, it's a bunch of thought-provoking, discussion-oriented questions. I think we said there's like 75 or 80 of them in there. There's a lot. Okay, there's a box for you to fill in each of your answers, which is no longer up there, but it was to the right. The questions are designed to help you think through the critical issues that you need to consider when starting a new business. Okay, I used a Q&A format because answering specific questions is a lot easier than creating new content on your own from scratch. You don't really have to think about much. You just answer the question. If there's a question, you just write in your answer real quick. Okay. Yeah, I'm a little behind on my slide here. These are sort of questions that lenders and investors want to know. Okay, so you'll see what what it looks like when you get it. It's a clean, simple, easy to navigate, fillable PDF. Okay, anyone can do it. You just start plugging your information in, you're ready to go. All right, so what exactly does it do? In general, it's a way for you to test your business idea on paper before committing more time and money to the effort. It helps you think through all the what ifs to make sure you cover all the bases. In hindsight, the reason why many businesses fail is because they weren't properly vetted. They never should have launched in the first place. They were a bad idea, but you didn't know it until you got to the point where like, gee, wow, this is a really bad idea. This is the, are you sure you really want to do this analysis, okay? If you decide to do so, I want to make sure you go into it with eyes wide open. It's a qualitative analysis as opposed to, whoops, going ahead. It's a qualitative analysis as opposed to quantitative, which means it's primarily it uses words instead of numbers. Diane works a lot and has worked in corporate America, as many of us have. Corporate America uses business case all the time as project management, as a project management tool. They've been doing it for years. What I've created is not really all that unique, except for maybe the way that I did it, with the questions and stuff like that. But I'm surprised nobody else has done it yet, really. I mean, it's really very intuitive. It's really not a lot of rocket science here. Okay, so the next slide is, what can you use it for? It's a precursor to creating a business plan. So in other words, you do this first before you attempt to write your business plan. And the reason why is because this is prep work you should be doing anyway. It's not extra work. But in the end, you're going to have all the information that you're going to need to build your business plan. It's going to be all there. You just need to reformat it. String it together. It's like take this plus this, and you find, wow, I got a business plan, right? It can also be a supplement or complement to a business plan. You can include this as an exhibit or addendum to your business plan as just a way to add more perspective to the document. It provides additional background information. The business plan oftentimes describes in more detail how you're going to make your idea come to life. So maybe your business plan focuses on that and less on the background stuff. This provides all the background stuff, right? That's the sort of stuff that will be a lot more informative, makes the business plan a lot more informative, interesting, and helpful. A business plan, by the way, can be whatever you want it to be. I've gotten like one-page paragraph business plans. I've gotten 30 pages with charts and pictures and graphs and all kinds of stuff, whatever you want it to be, as long as it's forward-looking in scope, okay? Tell me what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. Too often, the business plan that I write, they get bogged down in the why. They focus more on rationalization and justification, which is why they turn into a sales pitch, right? Nobody wants to read a sales pitch. Save the why stuff for the business case qualitative analysis. That's what it's all about, which is why it's an appropriate addendum to your business plan. It could also be a potential alternative to a traditional business plan. When I was helping Daniel, when he finished his document, he's talking with a lender in the state. And I said, hey, Daniel, I said, why don't you see if they'll accept this as your business plan? Because again, it's got everything in there, right? I asked them tonight, I'm like, what'd they say when you showed it to them? What'd they say, Dan? They accepted. So he doesn't have to write a business plan now because of the work that he did here. It took him a few hours to do it, but it didn't take him 6 months to write a business plan. He's now in the process of getting his loan. Time is money. Time. Get this stuff done as quickly as you can. Okay. Let's see. Oh, you know what you could do also? I don't know if we did this, Dan. Even put an executive summary on top of it. You know, describing your execution. You know, pair it with your financial projections and everything. And honestly, you have as good of a business plan as there ever is going to be. Okay. Let's see, what else do I have here? Yeah, I think it's better than a business plan because it addresses the most common, you know, failure pain points, which is when anybody who's reading it, that's what they care about, right? I'd rather read that document that you saw up there when it's completed than a business plan any day. That takes only about 15 minutes for me to read. When you guys submit these to us for the competition at the end of this thing, I don't know how many we're going to get. We're going to get a lot. You know, we can't spend a week reviewing business plans. No, we got to do this in a night, a couple of nights maybe. So again, time is money for everybody involved, right? Let's see. So yeah, do a nice job when you do these. Make sure you clean it up real good and make sure that it looks nice, okay? So tonight, you're going to get a copy of the business case qualitative analysis template, and you're also going to get the financial projection template that I put together. Both of these, when you look at them together, they have to tell the same story, okay? Which is that forward-looking story I was telling you about, right? One uses words and the others uses numbers. One's qualitative, the other's quantitative. That's why I call it qualitative. As you consider the two documents together, you're probably going to go back and you're going to change a few things on both of them. You change this a little here, this a little there, okay? The respective stories have to sync, right? They go hand in hand. So run some sensitivity on the financial stuff. Do a worst case, best case, most likely case. You don't want to just give, you know, the ultimate best case representation of what your numbers are going to be, because the person reading it is going to go, these numbers are bogus. And then you know what they're going to do? They're going to throw the whole thing out because you're not trustworthy. You don't look legitimate. You know, a lot of careful thought is going to go in here, which it's going to take you several hours to complete both at least. Daniel, do you remember how much time it took you to do the exercise? How many hours would you say it total took you? You did it in one night. That's great. Okay. But look, you're going to have some homework to do. That's part of what this program is about. We want you to do the homework. Okay. You know, this thing has to operate, you know, by itself, on your own, on its own. Okay. So that, because there ain't going to be anybody there to explain it when it gets submitted. Okay. So be sure you document all of your assumptions on the financial projections sheet in particular. That was one of the things Daniel and I went back on. I kept saying to him, give me more information, more assumptions, Daniel. He kept adding to it. And finally got to the point we were like, okay, this is good. We've got this thing where we need it to want to be. Keep in mind, you're not going to have to do all this by yourself. You can certainly, and you will be doing this by yourself, but we have score counselors, some of whom are here tonight, others who will be here on other nights to help you. So, you know, get their feedback, ask other people, family members, friends, you know, get people to help you, okay? Let's see here. I'm a little ahead of myself. Okay, I really do think you're going to like this because it makes the process of strategic planning a lot easier. It's going to give you some really good perspective by making you think about things that maybe you haven't fully considered or considered at all. And again, that's the whole purpose of this exercise, okay? The business plan typically has an external audience. In other words, you do it for somebody else. You're presenting it to somebody else, like I said, usually to get money or something like that. The audience for this analysis, by the way, is you. You're doing this primarily for your own benefit. Think of it as painting a picture, okay? You want that picture to be as lifelike as possible. You want to try to get a picture that, you know, of what reality is really going to look like. Okay, so one of the more interesting facts I discovered while doing research for this presentation pertained to the primary reason why entrepreneurs don't prepare a business plan. You want to know what it is? Here it is, you ready? That's the reason, because they don't want to. All right. One of the joys of working for yourself, Diane touched on this before, is that nobody's going to tell you what you have to do or what not to do. Okay. It's entirely up to you. You're the decision maker, but that also means you're the one who has to live with the decisions that you make. Many entrepreneurs, they make a conscious decision not to prepare a business plan, not necessarily because it's a laborious task, which it is. It's because they don't want to put themselves to the test and subject themselves to scrutiny. A written business plan establishes expectations. If you don't have a plan, you won't have any definitive targets. If you don't hit them, you won't ever be disappointed because you weren't trying to hit anything in the first place. Right? So think about this. Think about an archery, for instance, right? You pull back the bow and you release an arrow. Okay. You're shooting it wherever, right? If you miss the bullseye, or even if you miss the target entirely, you can say, well, I wasn't trying to hit anything. I was just launching the arrow to see where it would go. Okay, if the person's wrong, they don't want to have to admit it to anyone. So they rather remain unaware and hopefully figure everything out as they go along the way. It's almost like they're afraid to know what's ahead of them. It sort of reminds me of this. Okay? Denial is not a good business strategy, folks. It's an emotional reaction to contradictory information. That's what denial is. I'll talk more about emotions in a second, but denial is an attempted escape from reality, which is futile because there's no escaping reality, nor can you escape accountability. Even when you work for yourself, there's still accountability. Diane mentions the customers, right? Your family, there's other people here. Employees, if you have employees, they're counting on you. You're accountable to them. Your business has to be successful. Suppliers, vendors, partners, lenders, these are all the people that you're accountable to. In fact, you have more accountability as an entrepreneur than you would in a regular job. Regular job, you just have your boss, really, right? You got a lot of bosses in this business, so get used to being accountable. It's part of the entrepreneurial job. The most successful entrepreneurs that I know have a high degree of self-accountability. They have high standards, and they are their own harshest critic. They don't let their excitement and self-confidence cloud their judgment, and neither should you. You never want to become misguided by your own irrational exuberance. Remember that term from years ago? Alan Greenspan coined that term, right? The business case qualitative analysis provides an eyes wide open, 360-degree perspective on the new business opportunity. You don't want to stick your head in the sand because what sneaks up on you and bites you in the butt is something called, I've been talking about this tonight, here it comes, reality. Okay? It can be your best friend or your worst enemy. One thing's for sure, you can't ignore it. It's your involuntary, not so silent business partner. In other words, it's part of your business, whether you like it or not. Okay? It calls all the shots, everything you do is in response to what it does. And sometimes it can be harsh. For example, let's look at the disruptions, consider the disruptions caused by COVID over the last 2 years. We're now just about 2 years into COVID. It's created a whole new reality for just about everyone. Changed the way we live, work, play, shop, communicate. You know, some people, of course, impacted more so than others, but we've all experienced some degree of disruptive change. There wasn't anything that anyone could do to stop it. And many of the changes it caused are going to stay with us forever. You all heard the saying, you know, we've heard this time and time again, new normal. That's another way of saying this is our new reality. Changes in reality can sometimes be uncomfortable, but entrepreneurism, get this, is all about being comfortable with being uncomfortable. Okay, what most people see as a challenge, entrepreneurs see as an opportunity. That's how they think. That's what makes them different from everybody else. Successful entrepreneurs are constantly looking around at the shifting landscape for emerging opportunities and threats because they don't want to be blindsided by surprises. The complete opposite of the picture I just showed you, right? Volatility is bad for business. You want to keep, it's like being in a boat, a rowboat. You know, you don't want somebody standing up in the rowboat and you're going like, you want to keep everything nice and steady. That's good for business. There's a romanticism associated with starting a new business. It evokes feelings of excitement and euphoric emotions. Emotions, however, are a bad thing in business because they can cloud your rational judgment. This is not the same as instinct, mind you. Yes, there is an element of instinctiveness to business. Emotions supersede instinct, and that's why they're dangerous. For example, your instincts tell you a particular person is not suitable as a life partner for you, but you're smitten with their beauty or some other characteristic about them, and you end up marrying them anyway. How do you think this story's going to end? Is it going to end well? Usually not, right? That's, again, what we call learning the hard way. It's an unpleasant experience, and it can be very costly. I don't recommend it. This is why I created the business case qualitative analysis. I want to help you avoid an unpleasant outcome with your new business venture. Not writing a business plan, or in this case, ignoring the business case qualitative analysis because you don't want to do it, is an illogical emotional reaction and one that could prove to be disastrous. Success as a small business owner is difficult to achieve, but it's certainly not impossible. Let me say it again. In order to be successful, you first have to figure out how to avoid failure. Let me tell you something personal about myself. I hate losing. I hate losing more than I love winning. Okay, I hate losing most, however, when the reason why I lost is because I beat myself. In every business failure situation that I can think of, and there've been many that I've witnessed, the entrepreneur didn't get beat by somebody like a competitor, which is what you typically think in business, right? Competitor was better than you are and put you out of business. No, it doesn't work that way. They beat themselves. They were their own worst enemy. They were the reason why the business failed. It wasn't the business's fault. Okay, the person running the business simply made a series of bad decisions, and usually those decisions involve miscues that could have been and should have been anticipated. In those situations, you end up with regret, which is a very unpleasant feeling. It's like getting your heart broken, which is an unwelcome emotion. Let's consider an example here. Let's say you want to start a pizzeria. This was the example that Tim did when we were creating the business case qualitative analysis. There's literally thousands of successful pizzerias all across the country. So you already know it's a viable business model, right? Making pizza is a relatively easy process. All of the other decisions will determine success or failure, such as the location, the recipe, the quality of the ingredients. We've got marketing, hiring good people, customer service, et cetera, right? These are the things that the owner has control over. If your pizza place fails, you have nobody to blame but yourself. Okay, it was because you made poor decisions. The same holds true for just about any other type of business, except maybe for novel ones where there is, no proven concept yet. You're trying to come up with a cure for COVID or something, right? Well, nobody's done that before. So, you're pioneering in that case. Nobody's going to, criticize you or question you if you don't make a success. It's highly risky. If the business, in this case, the pizza parlor, was viable, then why did it fail? The simple reason is because it wasn't feasible. Okay, what's the difference between viability and feasibility? Viability is a test of whether or not something can be done. In other words, is it possible? Let me ask you, is it possible to start a successful pizza restaurant? Yes, of course it is, right? Feasibility, on the other hand, is a test of whether or not something should be done. Viability is, can it be done? And feasibility is, should it be done? Feasibility is oftentimes affected by the human element. In other words, is this business right for this particular person? Do they have what it takes? The ability to make good decisions is what determines feasibility. Oftentimes in business, success isn't a function of what you do, it's how you do it, okay? The business case qualitative analysis addresses and tests for both viability and feasibility. Your business may be a great idea, but it might not be the right business for you or for any number of reasons. You might not have everything that it takes to be successful. Wouldn't you rather know that now while you still have some time to correct it? This is what's commonly referred to as going back to the drawing board. You've heard that term before. You haven't figured everything out yet. You're not yet ready to launch. Maybe you discover that now is not the ideal time to launch the business. Maybe you need more time, to work on, develop yourself maybe. If so, take the time to iron out the wrinkles. Okay, you want to make sure that if you decide to proceed, you'll be successful. Again, being successful starts with not failing. Or if it turns out that you can't correct the deficiencies, wouldn't you want to know that now in advance so you can avoid a disastrous outcome? Like I said, a lot of businesses, they never should have launched in the first place. That's why the business case qualitative analysis is so valuable. And that's why we're making it a condition of participating in the contest. So yes, you have to do it. But I hope you'll agree that it's for your own benefit and that you'll want to do it. And Daniel, who's not here right now, is my testimonial in that case. Okay, so let's wrap this up. In the previous presentation from early this evening, Diane provided good information that will help you master the first half of the business startup equation, which is how to achieve success. What I've given you is the other half, which is how not to fail. Between the two, you now have a complete picture of what being in business for yourself looks like. I created this analysis because as part of my work in the small business lending world, as well as my volunteer activities with SCORE, I see a lot of false starts and small business failures. It's a persistent problem begging for a solution. So going back to the numbers I shared with you earlier, I think I'm off here. almost there. Going back to the numbers I shared with you earlier, it's statistically predictable that most startup businesses are going to fail. Or is it? Yes, what you're considering doing is risky, very risky, in fact. But a simple principle of risk management states that if something is predictable, it's also preventable. Think about that for a moment. If it's predictable, it's preventable. The odds may be stacked against you, but there are things you can do to shift them in your favor. Failure is not an inevitability. You can change what would otherwise be your fate. You may not be able to control everything, but you have enough control over enough things that you can make a difference. The business case qualitative analysis is a knowledge and awareness tool that will help you change what would otherwise be your likely destiny. I can't guarantee you success, but I can hopefully help you avoid failure. Not failing is a critically necessary precursor to success. First, you have to not fail, and you can work on being successful. And by the way, there are potential failure traps all along the road ahead. It doesn't end here. You do this analysis, great. That's just the beginning. Avoiding failure remains a continuous activity. The failure hurdles are greatest at the beginning of the journey, I'll tell you. And as time goes on, the focus will shift more toward building success than avoiding failure, but the risks never completely go away. That's why you need an experienced business mentor to guide you, someone to help you stay on course, bounce ideas off of, help you see around corners, so to speak. And that's what SCORE is all about. That's what we do, okay? We have people who can help you every step of the way, whether you're pursuing new opportunities, navigating around challenges. You know, remember this, you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself, okay? We're here to help you make sure you do it right. I don't know if you had a chance to meet any of our volunteer mentors tonight. Dick mentioned this in his opening comments, but did you catch that key word? We're all volunteers, okay? The services of SCORE are 100% completely, absolutely free, okay? This is your government tax dollars being put to good use. You have a great opportunity before you, and I encourage you to take advantage. Come back next week, we'll have another session on marketing your business. I have a great session with that. And 2 weeks from tonight, Matt Krieger and I, who's a fellow SCORE mentor, we're going to be doing a workshop on financial management, including how to get funding for your business. Who here needs money for their business? I think everybody, right? Money doesn't grow on trees. So, okay, so yes, there's money available, by the way. You can get money for your small business. That's what these economic development lenders that I mentioned, you know, that's why they exist. Go to a bank, they're not going to probably help you, but we will. So I look forward to sharing that information with you. So thanks for coming out tonight. Thanks for your time and your attention. I hope this discussion was interesting and helpful to you, and I'll be happy to address any questions that you have at this point. I didn't do that good of a job. I answered everything, so. There's a lot there. Who's got some thoughts? Even some thoughts, like, what do you think? Do you get what I'm saying? Right? When you look at this document, I really do think you're going to see all this is going to come together. You're like, I see what Joe was talking about. You know, there's things in there that I guarantee you haven't thought about yet. And it could be the difference between, you know, you might figure say, like, wow, that's something I really didn't consider. I got to fix that. Or, wow, that's something I really need to focus on. I mean, it's going to help you get that clarity of vision. Again, everything is forward looking. I was talking about you while you were gone. Good things only. All right, what other thoughts or questions? We've got 20 minutes till they throw us out. Mr. Baxendale. I don't know, Tim's the money man.
More sessions to listen to next 2 Wednesdays. We get to that one to do and see what happens.
Okay. One of the things that my business, my company is doing right now, the company I work for, we get a lot of money from the SBA for grants to help small businesses. And right now, for clients who take out a microloan, which is, I'll tell you about these in 2 weeks from now, but microloans are used for like startup businesses. If you get a microloan right now, you get a couple of other benefits. One, you get an experienced business advisor, kind of like a SCORE advisor, to help you with your business. And that's actually what I do. That's my job with the company. I work with a lot of small businesses who take out startup loans. But we have another program right now that the SBA is paying us to hire professionals. Jeff Seaver's gone, but he was here with us earlier tonight. Jeff's one of the people who I hired to work with our small businesses on helping them enhance their social platform, their website, anything related to their marketing. So we have professional guys, people, men and women, in this case, Jeff's a guy, but who my company hires and pays for to help you improve your business. And we have another program where Diane talked earlier about QuickBooks. We have a QuickBooks training program right now. A lot of other groups do, like even SCORE does. We have marketing programs that we do. We have QuickBooks training stuff that we do. They're all free, but the programs that I have, we do deep dives, one-on-one help with each client, where we really get into how are you using QuickBooks? Maybe you can do it better this way. I've got a QuickBooks Pro advisor who I hired, who sits down with each of the clients to help them improve the way they're using the program. I have 2 marketing firms. In addition to Jeff, there's one other group I'm working with. Come in, review all your social, make enhancements for how your whole digital marketing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, that's one of the other benefits of getting government financing. There's no grants. There's not really much available in the way of grants, but we get grants that enable to help us provide services to small businesses. SCORE exists based on government grants. All the operating costs that we incur in running our organization comes from the government. So you hear a lot of people down on the government for, for various reasons and such, but the SBA is probably the best, in my opinion, the best resource of the federal government because of all the help that they've provided to small businesses. So here's one last bit of help that the SBA provided. When COVID hit 2 years ago, it just threw the whole business world into a tailspin, right? The SBA, if you had an existing SBA loan at the time COVID hit, the federal government paid your loan for you for the next 11 months. They actually made your loan payments for you, and they didn't tax you on it, even better. So it wasn't just like they said, no, you don't have to pay your loan this month. No, they actually paid it for you, okay? They made your payments of principal and interest to keep your business afloat. So again, this is another example of the help that the Small Business Administration provides to small businesses. And as you are considering embarking on all this, take advantage of them. SCORE, government loans, et cetera, grant programs, training, it's all there. It's all designed to help you succeed. Why does the government want you to succeed? Because they want you to pay taxes. Okay? They've got a vested interest in you and your business. I can talk forever, so you want me to keep going? Thanks.